Good morning students, here we come up with embryology lecture of the structure and development of placenta. So therefore, structure and development of placenta, a very important chapter. First will be the entire structure we are going to discuss, and then gradually after understanding the basic structure we are going to discuss, along with this structure only we are going to discuss the development. So development and structure will go hand in hand. We start with the gross anatomy of placenta. It consists of three parts. So in the gross anatomy, there will be the fetal surface, there will be maternal surface, and there will be peripheral margin. This is the gross anatomy of a full-term placenta. So what is the shape of placenta? It is disc-like. Hence it is called discoid. So it is disc-like in which there are various villi. So it is called villus also. And the entire placenta, we know that after we will, once in the later stage, once we will draw the full-term placenta throughout its mature stage, we will understand that it contains blood, maternal blood and fetal blood across its villi. So it is hemoporial, and it contains villi, tertiary villi. So all these words will make up for the definition of the placenta. Nature of human placenta. It is discoid, disc-like, it is deciduate, it contains decidual cells, maternal side, deciduate. Then it is hemoporial because it contains chorionic plate on the fetal side, and also the maternal blood vessels in the intervilli spaces. These are the words which we use for the structure of placenta. So a human placenta is discoid, deciduate, hemoporial and villus type of labyrinthine organ. Now here we go with the gross anatomy, where we have the three parts of human placenta at full term. Because it is disc-like, it will have two surfaces, fetal surface, maternal surface, and one peripheral margin. So if you draw the fetal surface, this is the fetal surface, that is from fetal part, fetal side. So in this fetal surface here, if we just show with yellow color, I am going to show peripheral margin. Now this is the peripheral margin. This peripheral margin, once again I will thicken it. It will be continuous with the fetal surface. This peripheral margin is continuous with the fetal surface. Please note down. So therefore here we will name this structure as the peripheral margin. Which is this surface? Fetal surface. And mostly the fetal surface is covered by amnion. So therefore, the entire fetal surface here, if I put this color simply, I will show that the entire fetal surface is covered with the amniotic membrane, that is amnion. So therefore here, this is covered by amnion. What lies beneath the amnion? Beneath the amnion, we shall see that right in the center of the fetal surface of placenta, there will be the attachment of umbilical cord. So here, there will be the attachment of umbilical cord. Now, this is the entire umbilical cord which will be attached where? Exactly in the center. What lies beneath the umbilical cord? Now beneath the umbilical cord, we are going to draw the umbilical blood vessels. So therefore, these are the umbilical blood vessels. This completes the structure of the gross anatomy of the placenta full-term fetal surface. These are the points. Covered with amnion, and we are able to see the umbilical cord attached exactly in the central portion, and beneath the amnion there will be various umbilical blood vessels which will radiate and pass beneath the amnion into the fetal surface from the umbilical cord, the umbilical vessels. So here I can mark this as umbilical vessels, and this will be umbilical cord. After drawing this side, we can come over that side. Please come on this side, and we will draw the maternal side. So therefore, now the maternal surface, once again, the maternal surface, we will draw this peripheral margin. This is the peripheral margin of from the maternal side. Here we are going to mention maternal surface of the placenta, peripheral margin. Now the entire maternal surface will be divided into various polygonal areas. Please draw these areas. These are the polygonal areas. So this is how it will be divided into the various polygonal areas. Maternal surface by various fissures. So these are the fissures. They will pass deep inside, and these fissures, placental fissures, what will these deep placental fissures contain? They will contain placental septum. So they will contain, here I am writing placental septum. So on the surface of maternal side, we will find so many polygonal areas which are separated by deep placental fissures, and each placental fissure will contain placental septa, which we will see later on. So these placental fissures will contain placental septum. What are these areas known as? These areas are known as maternal cotyledons. What are these areas called? They are called maternal cotyledons. How many are there? These maternal cotyledons will be around, please note down, 15 to 30. Please note down. These are all 1 mark question answers, maybe, or MCQs. So maternal cotyledons, polygonal areas which are found on the surface of the maternal surface of the human placenta at full term, they are around 15 to 30 maternal cotyledons, and each cotyledons are separated by placental fissures, and fissures will contain placental septum. Now the third part. What is the third part? Please come on this side. We have finished these two parts, fetal surface, maternal surface. Now the third surface, third part is known as peripheral margin. Now this peripheral margin, which we have shown on either side of the fetal surface and maternal surface, the peripheral margin will be continuous with the fetal surface. Peripheral margin will be continuous with the fetal membrane or fetal surface. So that point you can note down. The peripheral margin of the entire human placenta will be continuous with the fetal surface or fetal membrane. What does it contain? It contains the following layers. So the peripheral margin, which is continuous with the fetal membrane or fetal surface, will contain. Now these are the layers which are joined with each other to form this peripheral margin, which will be continuous with fetal surface. They are decidua parietalis, which will join with decidua capsularis, which will join with chorion leaf. Spelling of leaf will be L-A-E-V-E, and which will join with this membrane, which is called amnion. So this is a 1 mark question answer. What is this peripheral margin composed of? Nothing. The peripheral margin of the human placenta in its gross anatomical structure, it consists of the union between these 4 layers. What are these 4 layers? Decidua parietalis will join with decidua capsularis, which will join with chorion leaf, which will join with amnion, and together it will form the peripheral margin of the gross anatomy of the human placenta, which will be continuous with the fetal surface. Now let us understand all these structures. Very easy, very simple. In order to understand all these structures, First of all, we'll come on this side. If we recollect, now, if we recollect the after implantation from second to third week, after implantation from second to third week, if I draw here, this is, let us assume, this will be our blastocyst. I will just write blastocyst after implantation. Now, the uterus, which I am going to draw, and we know the type of implantation. What is the type of implantation in humans? It is not neither eccentric, it is neither central, it is interstitial. So this implantation will be, this is the uterine wall. This is the uterine wall. Here on this side is the lumen, uterine lumen. It is embedded, the blastocyst is embedded inside in the wall of the uterus, which is called interstitial implantation within the wall. Entire, all the sides of the blastocyst, entirely, it is covered by only the endometrium of the uterus, which is now known as decidua. So therefore, if I draw here, everywhere the blastocyst is surrounded by uterine endometrium, which is known as, what is it known as? Decidua. So now, after implantation, the name of the uterine endometrium will be decidua. Very simple, because the endometrial cells, I have explained it to you in the previous segments, it will enlarge in size and they become decidual cells. So therefore, now the blastocyst is surrounded on all the sides by decidua. Now the decidua is divided in such a way that the portion of decidua which is deeper to blastocyst, this portion will be known as decidua basalis. This also we have discussed. The portion of decidua which is lying at the embryonic pole. Now supposing this is the embryonic pole of the blastocyst. The portion of decidua which lies deep to the embryonic pole is decidua basalis. The portion of the decidua which is lying covering the embryonic pole. So this is the embryonic pole, the pole which is just opposite the embryonic pole. Portion of decidua which is lining the embryonic pole, this portion of decidua will be known as decidua capsularis. And the remaining portion of decidua, the entire remaining portion of decidua will be known as decidua parietalis. Very simple, do not complicate, very simple. We have discussed this. Now what will happen? We have seen during the development of the second and third week, during the development of the changes in trophoblast, what we have seen, development of primary villi, secondary villi, tertiary villi. During the development of second week, we had reached till the stage of secondary villi, and during the completion of third week of pregnancy period, in the changes in trophoblast, we had completed the development of tertiary villi. Those villi will signify the subsequent changes in the development of placenta. So these villi itself will signify the development of placenta. Now, decidua, we are starting from the peripheral margin. Decidua parietalis, decidua capsularis, then chorion leaf and amnion. So please come on this side. Decidua parietalis will fuse with the decidua capsularis, which will fuse with chorion leaf. What is chorion leaf? Now, when the villi develop, for example, if I show with the yellow color, these are the villi. Let us assume these are the villi which are developing on the trophoblast, the outer trophoblast. These are the villi which are developing on all the sides. Out of this villi, around 800 to 1000 villi approximately have developed, tertiary villi. Now out of this, what will happen will be, the portion of the villi which is present in decidua capsularis will disappear, and only the portion of villi which is present in decidua basalis will remain. How many will remain? Approximately 60. So approximately around 60 to 80 of the villi will remain in decidua basalis, and the remaining portion, so the remaining, I will just rub it, they will disappear. All this villi, tertiary villi. These portions which have disappeared will be known as, chorion leaf. All the tertiary villi, they are called chorionic villi. Please note down, because they develop from chorion. What is chorion? We have understood that also. That is the trophoblast plus its underlying primary mesoderm. Plus its underlying primary mesoderm, or it is called extraembryonic mesoderm, is known as chorion. So the villi developing from the trophoblast will contain primary mesoderm, that is extraembryonic mesoderm, which are called chorionic villi. So therefore, these tertiary villi which are called chorionic villi, they will disappear from the ab-embryonic pole. From the ab-embryonic pole, they will disappear. Only those portions of the chorionic villi will remain which are attached to the embryonic pole, that is in decidua basalis. So the portion of the villi, chorionic villi, which have disappeared from the ab-embryonic pole will be known as chorion leaf. And this portion where the chorionic villi are persisting, where they are remaining in decidua basalis, they are known as chorion frondosum. Please note down, chorion frondosum. This is 1 mark question answer. Which portion of the placenta will develop from, or chorion frondosum signifies what? The chorion frondosum signifies the chorionic villi which remain in decidua basalis. So chorion frondosum is the fetal part of the placenta. And what is the maternal part of the placenta? Decidua basalis. So therefore, there is a beautiful statement given in the books that chorion frondosum of the fetal part will join with the decidua basalis of the maternal part to form the human placenta. So our human placenta is consisting of this much part, where chorion frondosum of fetal part will join with the decidua basalis of maternal part. The other part which has disappeared, the other portion of the chorionic villi which has disappeared from the opposite pole, from the remaining part, will be known as chorion leaf. So decidua parietalis will join with decidua capsularis, which will join with chorion leaf. All together they will join along with the membrane covering the fetal surface. What is that membrane covering the fetal surface? Amnion. So all together they form the peripheral margin of the placenta. That is what you need to understand. So here we have understood what is chorion leaf, we have understood what is chorion frondosum. Now we understand gradually in subsequent stages what are the stages in development of placenta, and in the end we are going to draw the entire structure of the full term placenta, which is the most important diagram. Right now I will explain it to you the various stages. Initially I told you that the entire chorion will pass through 3 stages: primary villi, secondary villi, tertiary villi. What are these villi? In order to understand this villi, we will utilize this much portion, and I will show you that. Very simple. So therefore, if I just show, if I take a cross section, of this villi, although this development which I am going to explain it to you will be present on all the entire surface of the trophoblast, of the blastocyst. But after some time, this tertiary villi stage will disappear from ab-embryonic pole, which will be known as chorion leaf. And the portion of villi which will persist, which will remain, will be known as chorion frondosum. So therefore now, how this villi develop will represent the stages in the development of placenta. So please note down. These are the beautiful small line diagrams which you can write if the question of placenta is asked, development of placenta, which you can draw very fast and explain it. This is how you have to explain. So the placenta development will pass through 3 stages. What are those 3 stages? First stage, primary villi, a very short line diagram. Even in your answer sheet you can write down. Here we show this villi in this way. This is the villi. Let us show this villi in this way. Now here, this is the maternal side, this is the fetal side, primary villi. It will contain only 2 layers, the central core of cytotrophoblast and outer core of syncytiotrophoblast. So therefore, Simple, I will show here, this will be the yellow color, very simple yellow color, this is the cytoplast. Now this is the central core of cytotrophoblast. And the outer portion, here I am showing this outer portion with, let me show with the violet color, syncytiotrophoblast. The outer layer of syncytiotrophoblast. So this is the outer layer of syncytiotrophoblast. These two layers, and now if you mark these two layers, now if you just mark these two layers, they will signify this is syncytiotrophoblast and this is cytotrophoblast, and this is the stage of primary villi. In the stages of development of placenta, this is the stage of primary villi. So these villi will be surrounding the entire blastocyst. So therefore, this is the stage of primary villi in which we have cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblast. Very simple. Now comes the stage of secondary villi. So here I will write it secondary villi. And in secondary villi, one layer is added. Within this primary villi, within the cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblast, there is addition of one layer, and that layer will be the primary mesoderm. So therefore, in primary mesoderm, here we will add green color, and this will represent the secondary villi stage. So this is the mesoderm, and here central core will now contain, what will the central core contain? Primary mesoderm. So here I will add this layer which will be known as primary mesoderm. So now the central core contains primary mesoderm. Secondary villi stage. Remember, these villi stages can also be asked in MCQs also. One more question answer. The following layers will signify primary villi stage, secondary villi stage, or tertiary villi stage. So secondary villi stage, 3 layers: outer syncytiotrophoblast, inside cytotrophoblast, and the central core consisting of primary mesoderm. And now the third stage. If I put the third stage, now it will undergo the third stage, and that will be tertiary villi. Stage of tertiary villi. What will it contain? Now all these 3 layers will remain. Last layer we have to add, and that last layer which we are going to add will be the fetal blood vessels. So here we are going to add, now these are the fetal blood vessels in which we are going to add like this. So these are fetal blood vessels, and therefore we are going to mark here central core as fetal blood vessels. So tertiary villi consists of central core from inside to outside, 4 layers. The central core, fetal blood vessels, outside that primary mesoderm, outside that cytotrophoblast, and outside that syncytiotrophoblast. This is the tertiary villi stage. This tertiary villi stage of chorionic villi will be present throughout, everywhere surrounding the blastocyst. What will happen will be, at the embryonic pole, this tertiary villi stage of chorionic villi will disappear. So it will be known as chorion leaf, and only on the decidobasalis side it will remain, where it will be known as chorion frondosum. Simple. So we have understood the developmental stages of the human placenta, where the human placenta will pass through 3 different stages in the development: primary villi stage, secondary villi stage, tertiary villi stage, all the 3 stages. And this tertiary villi stage will be known as chorionic villi. Now, after understanding this, we are going to draw the entire diagram on this side. If we come on this side, we are going to utilize the half of the board, entire diagram of the complete full development of placenta, in which we need to understand what is the placenta at the full term. So therefore, we are going to understand. Now I will just rub this board. I will just come up in the upcoming segment.